What's up, Philadelphia? It's Erock here once again. Now today we're reminiscing about big hits, monster sacks, and bone-breaking goal line stands. Today we're counting down the top 5 Eagle defenses of all time. Coming in at number 5 is the 1960 Eagles defense led by linebacker Chuck Bednarik. The Eagles were a bend but don't break kind of defense, never willing to give up the big play. They forced quarterbacks to try to move the ball methodically down the field, which many had trouble doing, as the Eagles were first in turnovers and second in interceptions. Safety Don Burrows had 9 of the Eagles' 30 picks, and Bednarik struck fear into the hearts of anyone that crossed the middle. The 1960 Eagles defense was the last to hoist an NFL championship trophy. Still fresh in the minds of all Eagles fans are our boys from the turn of the century. This Eagles defense consisted of some of the most memorable players and characters in Eagles history. That's why they come in at our number 4 spot. Jim Johnson became the orchestrator of an exotic defensive scheme that defined the Philadelphia Eagles in the new millennium. He built a physical secondary comprised of Brian Dawkins, Bobby Taylor, and Troy Vincent. The scheme was based on speed, not size, but the front 7 played bigger than their measurements. Carlos Emmons captained a rangy linebacker core that included tackling machine Sean Barber, and all-pro Hugh Douglas set up zip code in the backfield, racking up 12.5 sacks. When most Eagles fans look back at the 80s, brings back some embarrassing memories. But there's nothing embarrassing about the 1980 NFC champs. This Philadelphia Eagles defense led them all the way to the Super Bowl, which is why they're number 3 on our list. The story of the 1980 Eagles is one of resurgence and redemption. These unwanted cast-offs came together to solidify a top-ranked defense in football. A dominating defensive front built around all-pro defensive linemen Carl Hairston and Charlie Johnson held 10 opponents to under 100 yards rushing, freeing up the linebackers to make big play after big play. Coach Dick Vermeil rode this unit all the way to the Super Bowl. You know, I can vividly remember the first time my grandfather took me to Veterans Stadium to see our number 2 squad play. It's hard to believe, but it's been 20 years since they last took the field. But as long as the city stands, they will never be forgotten. Star defensive tackle Jerome Brown was lost in a devastating car crash, but his memory provided inspiration to teammates and fans for this Eagles defense that will be remembered as one of the best ever. Middle linebacker Byron Evans led the team with 175 tackles and 4 interceptions, while Reggie White and Clyde Simmons combined for 33 sacks. The group, known as Gang Green, developed a reputation as being the hardest hitters in football. The 1940s were somewhat of the golden age for our beloved Birds, and their defense embodied that greatness every time they hit the field. Not only were they the number 1 defense at the time, but they're the number 1 defense on our countdown. The 1949 Philadelphia Eagles defense, led by head coach Greasy Neal, dominated every statistical category. With the grit and determination to bully and bruise the opposing team's offense, running backs found little daylight whether they ran inside or off tackle. Russ Kraft led the team in fumble recoveries, including this classic strip that resulted in a memorable 21-yard touchdown. The Eagles defense was first in points and first in yards allowed, shouldering the team to an 11-1 record and their second consecutive shutout in an NFL championship game, a feat yet to be duplicated.